We'll see what happens with 1745 Arkansas bill about requiring drivers, commercial truck operators speak English and understand English and be able to read, write, all that kind of thing. My worry with this is that this is a trial balloon that's being floated. See, for those of you who don't know this, politicians do stuff like this all the time. And they do it for money. They float, oh, look, here's this really good bill that would actually probably put some teeth into something. And they do that so that then all of the usual suspects, all of your big mega carriers, Amazon, Walmart, etc., start then funneling a bunch of money into the politicians to get them to vote no. Like this is done all the time, right? It's done with negative bills too. You create a negative bill like, oh my God, we're going to ban this, and then a bunch of people who don't want the ban then you get what I'm saying? Like that's how it works. So my only concern with this is that because this is such an obvious, in other words, why is it being tied up? It's so they can make money off of it. And then on top of that, then you have to worry about it's the law, but then is it going to be enforced? Let's say they do pass it. Is it going to actually be enforced? Are the guys that are out there on the ground, the DOT, Arkansas DOT guys, going to actually enforce any of this? Because if you kind of don't know how to read between the lines in a lot of cases, it's like, hey, and any cop, if they were going to be honest, and I've met very few honest cops in my life, but if they're being honest, they're going to say, yeah, you're kind of told, yeah, go out and enforce the law, all these laws, these millions and millions and millions of laws we've created. But if you enforce them, you're not going to get an EOT. You're not going to get that job where you stand out in front of a club and get $100 an hour to look at scattered ass all night long. Yeah, you're not going to get any of those special privileges or jobs. You're not even going to get promoted. I know this because I've had conversations with permanent sergeants that are permanently sergeant, and because they will never be promoted because they won't enforce that crap, or they will enforce something and they're like, hey, we don't really, just because it's law, we don't really want you to enforce it. This is, by the way, for those of you wondering, why, what is it you have this problem with police and military? This is the problem I have with police and military right here. It's inconsistent. My problem isn't with the actual guy themselves, all it is for some people, but it's the hypocrisy of the whole thing. That's my bigger problem. And so, anyway, in this trucking report, I'm just keeping it really simple. I'm just pointing out that everybody's saying, we need to do all this. First of all, those are already laws in the books. Those laws have already been there. It already says you have to be able to speak, read, write, clear English, etc. It already says all this stuff. DOT's already not enforcing this stuff all over the country, particularly in California. California doesn't give a shit about what happens to anybody, as long as they keep the money flowing into whatever politician. You know what I'm saying? So you're to forgive my cynicism with this, because I'm genuinely not trying to be cynical, but we've just seen this stuff just too many times.